In the heart of newly independent India, a silent revolution began, one that would reshape the destiny of millions. Agrarian reform stood as the cornerstone of India's agricultural transformation, divided into two powerful pillars: institutional reform, the bold restructuring of land ownership, and technical reform, the green revolution that would lead a starving nation. First came the decisive role abolition of intermediaries. Before 1951, powerful zamindars extracted rent from the actual tillers of the soil, passing only a function of the government. This system was crushed. Result: nearly 200 lakh tenants were freed from exploitation and brought into direct contact with the government. For the first time, the farmer stood tall, no longer a slave to middlemen. Ownership rights for tenants. Then came dignity. Ownership rights for tenants in several states. Tenants cultivators were made rightful owners of the land they had tilled for generations. They were asked to compensate former landlords. But now the land was truly theirs. Result: tenants gained the incentives to invest, to procure more. Agriculture began to grow. Now, coming further, we'll talk about redistribution of land, which is also considered as land ceiling. Next, the fight against inequality, redistribution of land through land ceiling. No individual could own unlimited acres. The purpose was very clear: to break the dangerous concentration of land in a few hands. The soil of India would no longer belong only to the privileged. But the path was not without shadow. Faulty legislations allowed cunning zamindars to exploit loopholes and retain vast holdings. Powerful landlords challenged the laws in courts, causing massive implementation delays. Time they used to transfer land to relatives and evade justice. Worst of all, exploitation continued. Many landlords forced tenants to voluntarily surrender their land, then claimed to be self cultivators. Land reforms, though visionary, was often crippled by weak political will and powerful vested interest. Yet, when institutional reform fell short, technical reforms rose to the challenge. The Green Revolution, a dramatic surge in food grain production, driven by high yield variety seeds, especially wheat and rice. It was not just agriculture, it was survival. Why was it desperately needed? 75% of India's population depending on farming. Productivity was painfully low, trapped by primitive tools and ancient methods. And every failed monsoon brought the specter of famine. Phase 1 began in the mid 1960s, transforming the fertile field of Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. By the second phase of Green Revolution in the late 70s and 80s, the revolution spread wider, touched more states and more crops. The results were historic. India achieved self-reliance in food grains. No longer did we bow before America or any other nation for our daily breads. Marketable surplus exploded. Farmers earned more. The price of food grains fell, bringing relief to millions of poor families. And most crucially, the government built massive buffer stocks, a shield against future shortage. But even this triumph carried warnings. High yield variety seeds demanded heavy inputs that only rich farmers could afford. There was really risk of widening inequality and the terrifying threat of pest attacks that could wipe out entire harvest for the vulnerable. The government stepped in, providing low interest loans, subsidizing fertilizers, and establishing research institute to protect small farmers. Yet, even today, the debate rages. Should subsidy continue? Some say that they have become a heavy burden on the nation's finances. Others argues they remain essential because farming in India is still a risky business and removing support would crush the poor and deepen inequality. From the abolition of zamindari to the miracle of high yield seeds, India's agriculture journey has been one of struggle, sacrificing triumph, and unfinished dreams. It is the story of a nation fighting to feed itself and, in doing so, finding its strength. A story that continues even now in the hands of every farmer who tills the soil of India. Thank you so much.